Hey, Bree, how you doing?
Hey, good, pretty good. How are you, Mario?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I was psyched to see you and Cameron climbing last week. How did your session go?
It was pretty good. Haven't been on ropes in a while. I feel like I just need to start training a little bit more again. What was that hangboard you mentioned to us?
It was a flashboard. And I think it's the best one because you can use it indoors, you can use it outdoors. It doesn't really matter where you use it. You can hang it on stuff. You don't have to mount it to your wall, so it's pretty dope.
Oh, that's great because I feel like I can't put holes anywhere in my house, but
yeah,
that's awesome. Where can I get it?
You can go to Tension's website, and then whenever you do, just drop in the promo code Tension SAS20. You'll get 20% off. You'll support the podcast, and yeah, but then they'll get it to you on the quickness.
Oh, sick! Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, are you guys climbing again this weekend?
Yeah, I think we'll hit up maybe the new rope gym down in the Design District.
Oh, the new movement is finally open. Nice.
Finally, after our long wait.
I know. That's a long wait, but I'm excited. Well, I'm looking forward to climbing with both of you guys, and I'll see you guys this weekend.
Yeah, I'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye. Friends and enemies, lovers and haters, welcome to Sends and Suffers podcast. I am your host, Mario Stanley. If you haven't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to Sends and Suffers podcast. Every bit counts, and we would love to hear from you. So take a moment to leave a comment. These go a long way and help others know what they're getting into and how good this show is. If this is one of your favorite podcasts, consider becoming a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you are investing in Sends and Suffers podcast, and it's like buying your boy a taco, hanging out, and getting to know the good that is coming your way. Monthly recaps, early show releases, and all the other cool things that we do. Thank you so much for listening to Sends and Suffers podcasts. Part 2 of my conversation with Mary Eden. I hope you enjoyed the last one because this one is going to be just as good. Little public announcement. March 18th, I am doing a day of climbing out in Rogers Park. So if you're local in Texas, I would love for you to come out and join. Go to my Instagram, click the link in my bio, scroll down, you'll see March Bouldering Trip. Fill out the form. There are only 25 spaces, and we've got 17 so far, so we're filling up. We're going to be doing a day of climbing. We're going to be taking some photos, hanging out, laughing, but most importantly, I'm going to get to rock climb with you in a casual setting, and we're just going to have a blast. So I hope I have the opportunity to climb with you, meet with you, and just do some sending and a whole lot of suffering with you. Other than that, let's get into this episode. Please enjoy my conversation with Mary Eden. I don't know, but I imagine we should just...
Oh, I was saying, I just always want,
More.
Like, I was like, I want all the Barbies in the world.
Yeah, growth.
And then I was like, and I also want to be the best artist ever. Because I was, really into, I think it was, 3rd grade, I liked drawing. And, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think, that mindset really ever changed of, I love cams. I want to collect all the cams. And, I want to rock climb to the best of my ability. And, it's I don't want to be, I'm not a kid anymore. I don't want to be the best. That's too exhausting. But I want to be the best that I can be. Mm-hmm. And I really like finding that limit for myself.
Well, I think that's the thing, and I think that's the thing that about you is very interesting. It's growth is something that you thrive on and you seek after, and I don't know. So I just recently did a post about talking about that, and there's spiritual dollars, there are emotional dollars, and there are physical dollars. And spiritual and emotional dollars are heavier than physical dollars because those are the easiest things that you can have. Yeah. And I don't know. And it's very obvious in everything that you do that you're chasing after growth. And I think a lot of people, especially Americans, I'll say this from my experience, most people want to get comfortable, and growth, consistent growth is it's just not seeking comfort.
It's not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
It's actually just fraught with failure and over and over and over, and you're
Absolutely.
just I don't actually enjoy pain. I don't enjoy failure, but I also enjoy failure because
because it's a part of it.
means that I'm not stuck, you know, I'm not in a rut. I'm just failing. I'm just trying. And then like, oops, you get some success and you learned all these things. And yeah, there's just so much stuff from failure. Just so much good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like I say at the end of this podcast every single time, like I always say, like, if you're not suffering, was it really ascend at all?
Yeah.
And it's
exactly.
like, I think that is a true statement with life. Like if you're not suffering, and when I say suffer, I don't mean like anguish. I don't mean pain. I mean, it's a part of it, but I don't mean like misery, you know, even though there are stages of that, but like you are consistently seeking growth. And I think that's why your career is flourishing.
I mean, I wouldn't be who I am without, you know, my family going through what they went through, and then like, you know, seeing them literally suffer. And like, you know, and then there's like a lot of anguish and like just being too young to be able to really help. And being, you know, like, and you want to help. You hate seeing the loved ones, you know, have a bad time or have a hard time, but like you're not in a position to help anybody. You're so young. And so I think that, I don't know, I think I was always trying to like fix everything when I was younger and like take care of everything. And then I had to just like learn to let go and accept that like you just can't fix it all. You can't save it all. But what you can do is you can work on yourself, and you can, you know, you can educate yourself. You can try your best. You can push yourself, and hopefully, you know, that spreads. And you can help your friends too.
Is that something that you want to see come to pass with all of this and everything that you're growing towards, that you can consistently help your family and kind of like move, I guess, like, you know, just based on like your past and everything that you said before, is that something that's important to you?
Yeah. I want my parents to have like an easier life than they do, for sure. I just want them to be happy and like have what they need.
Yeah. Happiness is not easy.
I just want them to be able to relax.
I can see that.
You know, just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I think that's something we want for all of our parents, especially if you come from a family that like genuinely loves you and genuinely has tried to give you the best. Like, you want to give back at some point in time, and you want to be able to do that. And I think, I don't know, I mean, based on my conversations with my parents, the biggest thing that they've always told me that is giving back is seeing me consistently grow and seeing me consistently flourish. Yeah. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm really impressed, and like, and I think you embody that a lot. And once again, I think that's why your career has been like really just like, you know, taking off. And it is the work that you're putting into it. I mean, it's very obvious that you put grind time into this. Like, you know, Chris Hampton and I always talk about this, like the hustle. Like the hustle is it. And there's not many people who are constantly willing to be on the hustle and willing to do that, because, I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's legitimately hard. It's not something that you can just like, you know, half-ass or halfway kind of do. Like, it is consistent. It is relentless. And you have to be even more so than it is. And it is this big existential thing of life and whatever it is. But I don't know. For a little woman, you kick life in the teeth pretty hard.
I don't know about that, but I'm just hanging in there.
At least you're fighting it.
Yeah.
You're not laying down.
I feel like I learned something when I was projecting the Crack House that has always like stuck with me. And like, if you leave the ground with doubt, you're not going to ascend.
Agreed.
You know, and it could be like the tiniest little bit of doubt, right? Just like tiny, but like doubt is like insidious. Like insidious. Ugh, I can't say it. Can you say it?
No, but we know what we're getting at.
And it just like creeps in, and then we'll, you know, in that moment between giving that last 5%, which usually is that fine line between like fail or go, send or suffer.
Yeah.
And that doubt will get you in your week, and then you won't give that extra 5% because you'll give up.
So
Or you'll be like, oh, that's my limit, I can't. When you know, if you can train your brain and be like, no, I can, and you push that extra 5% that you didn't think you have in you, you'd be surprised.
How did you learn how to do that? Or you feel like that's just been a part of your upbringing? Because I think people listening to this, like, learning how to do that is not intuitive. And I also think if you don't, speaking in the context of climbing, if you don't project and you don't just like put yourself through the ringer, it's really hard to understand that. And so, but how would you encourage someone else to step into that, like pushing that kind of growth, consistently doing that? Like, what advice would you give to someone?
I feel like maybe it was intuitive, like growing up like that. Like, oh, you just try harder or whatever. But I don't think I ever really put words to it or awareness to it until I was working the crack house like several years ago. And I just kind of quickly learned that, like, if I started not believing, then I wasn't going to make it. And it was just as practical as that, you know, just like hanging on and pushing and not having doubt. So I was not as heavy, you know, because doubt is heavy.
It is. It's like, yeah, like I said before, like emotional and spiritual things weigh more. They have more value. And it's like, if you don't spend those dollars and you don't spend that equity that you've built up over time, I think it does weigh you down, and it definitely can hold you. I mean, I know from personal experience, definitely the times that I've sent the hardest routes in my life is either when I just stopped caring about the route altogether, or I finally had to tell myself, you know, something like, basically I had to talk myself out of my doubt and talk myself into a position of power and a position of strength, and you moving forward. And I think that's, I don't know, it's harder than people think, and I don't think people give enough credit for like self-love and self-treatment.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is.
And it's hard disrupting the negative cycle when you start to get into the negative like feedback loop. Especially, you can see it on people in lead. They get scared and they get stuck, you know, and they'll stop and they'll just be like, I can't, I'm scared. And then I do a lot of coaching from like a fixed line next to people who are going through that. And it's something that like I struggle with too. And so it's like, okay, what we need to do is we need to disrupt this cycle that we're in and like, you know, approach this positively. And it's a really hard thing to train. I feel like it's worth it though.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's immensely worth it. Like if you don't, I don't know, like if you as a coach, like the most detrimental thing I've ever seen is when someone has the ability to disrupt that cycle. Yeah. And they just stop. Because I think it's harder to pick that ball back up. Yeah. And get it moving than if you just kept on rolling with it.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard when that creeps up on you and then you have to like jolt it away almost and like pivot.
So what did you learn from creating this film that we're going to watch tonight?
Oh, that I'll walk so far for my friends. Oh, man. I liked creating this one. Going to the Grand Canyon was kind of like going back home a little bit because I lived in Moab mostly, but there was like a year where I lived in the Grand Canyon on the South Rim. Mm-hmm. Not quite a year, actually, just like a full season. And it was just so much fun, like getting into backpacking and doing all that stuff. So like when Kaya asked me to do this with her, I was like, you know how far of a walk that is, right? I knew very clear how far of a walk that was going to be. And she was like, yeah, it would be great. And I was like, you do realize that, like, I'm a slow backpacker, right? You know, I just want to make that, like, very clear. And she's like, yeah, no, I want you to do it with me. I was like, okay, I'm down. But you might be mad about how slow I am. And I actually wasn't that slow. I've gotten stronger since I was that young. I'm still slow, but usually at high elevation.
Slow and steady wins the race, or
Yeah.
as they say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
I turn into grandma at high elevation.
That's no, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's the reason I like the desert. I could breathe down there.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got lots of air, lots of ability to move.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Man.
So I learned that, you know, that my friends want to do something, I'm fucking down. I don't know. I already knew that. I don't know. It was a really good time.
I'm excited to watch this tonight. I think it's going to be really cool. Like,
It's pretty.
I knew this was coming, but I don't know anything about it. And
It's a beautiful rock climb. It's really only 3 pitches of rock climbing, but we like tracked our mileage, and it ended up being like 38 miles.
So why did she choose this climb?
Fuck. I don't know.
Why did you choose to do it?
She told me to.
Oh, that's great.
I just don't say no very much. I'm going to be honest.
No, get with it, girl. I'm going to hold you to this for something else in the future one day. Know this, that I'm going to hold you to this.
Yeah, I just said yes, and then we did it. And I watched her hustle in the back end, like in a whole spring, because I was going to school full time and working part time, and then trying to train and doing some freelance. So I didn't have a lot of extra time. So I was like, Kaya, you have to do all the back end stuff.
What are you going to school for?
Marketing, business.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Switching my geology degree from my early 20s to business one.
That makes sense. How much farther are you done?
I probably have a year left.
Okay,
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, none of my sciencey stuff really transferred.
None of it at all?
Not really.
Oh,
yeah, I was like, why do I have to take business statistics? I took Calc 2. And they're like, you can test out of it. And I said, I haven't taken a math class in 7 years. I don't want to try to test out of it. I've been thinking about rocks for 7 years, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you'd be biting off probably a little bit more than you can chew.
Yeah.
That's
Comes
fair.
back, though.
So so you've got this coming out tonight, which I'm super excited to see. We've talked kind of about a lot of things but like, what is something that well, this is another question that I like to ask too. Is like, is this that's coming out tonight the thing that has brought you the most joy recently? Or what has in your life recently brought you the most consistent joy? Let's just narrow it down to maybe like this year.
I mean, I feel like this thing, we created this much earlier in the year, and so much has happened since then that like my brain, it's always like forward. So it's almost like this is like, oh yeah, we did that, which is kind of funny. So I would say recently the thing that has brought me the most joy, I just finished like a week in the Wind River Range. I had never been to the Cirque of the Towers. It was amazing.
Jelly.
It was honestly super majestic, and you know, I came from climbing in the VU, and I feel like before, when I visited the VU, which was not actually very much, I would just like go in with a list and not deviate from my list, get all those routes done, and then like leave. And so this was my first real trip to the VU where I just didn't go with a list.
Okay.
And I just like embraced like, you know, becoming more friends with the locals and climbing and testing out a bunch of different things and sampling around. And I don't know, it was just so much fun. And I think I grew to love Vita Vu more than I thought was possible. And yeah, because of that.
I think that place and HP 40 are two of the most magical places to climb in all of the United States.
It's really nice.
They're different. They're so different.
It's different. I couldn't climb there all the time because it's too short. It's 40 feet. I want to go climb some tall rocks.
Yeah, big roots.
You know, that's why I thought it was like a perfect balance to, you know, kind of like enjoy Vita Vu and then really embrace the Wind River Range, you know, and get up on some summits, and I don't know. And I just had an amazing time this spring in Moab. I got to watch Mari flash belly full, which was really meaningful for me. I was so excited about that.
What does that go as?
It's some Sandbag 13 invert offwood thing, and she just flashed it. It's 513, but it's the hardest. Like, I've done a lot of offwood 13s now, and it's the hardest one. And it's just not even the grade that they say it is.
That's boss.
Yeah, she just flashed it, and I got to see that, and it was really meaningful for me. And I think it took her aback how, like, emotionally invested I got into that. And she was like, oh, it's not that, it's, and I was like, no, that was literally so amazing for me. Like, I just needed that.
It's funny you say that, because I've told some of my friends, like, they're like, what's the most momentous moments for you? And I'm like, belaying some people on the end of a rope. And, like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like you can literally feel the energy transfer through the rope, and you're just like, you're like in it, and you're so invested. And yeah, I know that feeling. I think that's one of the reasons why I keep coaching. Yeah. And I have a hard time walking away from coaching. Like, I can't do it, because it fuels your psyche. Yeah. And it fuels you so much. It's unreal.
It was just so awesome, because I got wrist surgery in February, and 6 weeks of like nothing, just healing, like really focusing on healing and really focusing on school and work and all that real life stuff. And as soon as I got cleared, my friends Tom and Pete and Mari like came over, and it was just like perfect timing. I was like, this is great. I got cleared to rock climb like 6 days ago. And I met up with them in the creek, and I don't know, just getting to see my friends that I don't get to see very often, like right post like surgery, and like, hey, you're finally able to rock climb now, go ahead. And like day one, they're like, yeah, let's climb all these 13s, and I'm like, oh, my ass is so kicked, I haven't climbed at all, my hand is fucked, like. And then the second day back, like, seeing Mari flash belly, and I was like, this is so fucking awesome. Like, it was just so motivating, because I had been working out and like trying to stay fit while like not using my right arm, but trying to keep everything else pretty decent.
Yeah, it's rough.
And so I don't know, just to come back and then like just get to experience that moment with them, and then just like get to climb and get to kind of like take them to the classic test pieces and try the test pieces with them. And it was just it was so positive. It was awesome. I think that was like, I don't know, that was just great. I don't have a lot of words for how that made me feel.
I think it's hard to put into words.
Yeah, I felt so inspired, and I hate using that word, but because I feel like people toss it around a little too cheaply. They like see a cool picture on Instagram, they're like, oh, inspiring, and I'm like, was it though? Or was it just kind of cool?
It's an action. It's not just something that you see.
I feel like inspiring is like something that gets into your soul and like lights that fire under your ass.
Yeah, it gets down into the marrow.
Yeah, like seeing that and getting to experience that with them, and I don't know, Tom started training me a few years ago, and like
Tom
Randall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and when him and Pete Whitaker stayed at my house, and like they were putting up the Black Mamba and things like that, and I felt like Tom was like one of the first people to actually like see that I could climb well, and like gave me the credit for it. And I feel like before that, like people didn't really like take me too seriously. I was just kind of slow learner and a girl, and whatever. And Tom was one of the first ones that was like, no, you're like an athlete, and this is how I'm gonna help you get better. And like he started training me, and then so like getting to post surgery and being told it was okay to go outside, and getting to meet up with Tom and Pete and walk them to all the good stuff and try all the good stuff with them and not suck too bad, and get to see Mari do that. It was fucking awesome. And when I went home from that, like the training felt less of a drudge and more of like a fuck yeah. And then when I came, when I came, you know, a few weeks later to teach a month of crack camps, and I only had like 6 off days in that month, you know, I got to do all my projects. I fucking fired it out, and because I just had the psych, you know, and I felt like it was fucking awesome. I felt like a dog off its leash for the first time in a while. I was like, fuck yeah.
Just going nuts.
The wind in my tongue, like fucking going crazy, chasing after a squirrel, you know?
Yes.
I was insane. I was like, let's go do Pabst Blue Ribbon in the morning because it's shaded, you know, and then we could go over to Bellyful in the afternoon when it goes into the shade. And then people are like, nobody wanted to do that. It was May. They were like, that's horrible. Why were you doing that? I was like, because it's 2 different muscle groups, and you're not going to get tired for off with climbing a finger crack. And
truth. I mean, there is truth in that statement.
Yeah, so it was just cool. Yeah.
It's funny, like I think that's also too, going back to like your desire for growth and your ability to just mentally keep yourself there. I think it was Will and I were talking about this today, like Carlos Traversi, when he did Jade, something else, and then did something on the Dawn Wall all in a day.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you have to have the ability, or you have to make the choice.
Yeah.
To like mentally be able to push through. And I think over time, and I think this is probably really true for what's happened to you, you've grown the ability to make it something that you can, I don't want to say it's just like a switch you can turn on, but it's something you can muster up.
Yeah.
And I think it's ability that you can just kind of like, for the lack of a better term, like conjure up, and you're just like, all right, let's do this. Like, let's go.
I like doing things in blocks because of that. I feel like having like the balance of like, you know, going home and resting and getting your work stuff done, and then so you can just full throttle, you know, and it's good. It's good stuff. I'm sure you know what it's like because you live in Texas and then you travel, and so when you go home, you're in work mode.
Yes.
And then when you're out, you're doing it.
It's a very Texas theme because it's so hot. We don't get a lot, and people are always like, I get it all the time, like you people from Texas are insane. You guys come up and you're just like I gotta do everything. Like I just gotta do it right now. Like it's good, cool, it's in the shade, and then people are like, it's 90 degrees here. I'm like, it's great sending temps. Let's just go.
Let's just do it.
You know? And it is a mindset, and I don't think it's something. It's a mindset that is like, and I also want to be very clear and just tell me if you disagree with this or not, but like, it's a mindset that also requires a certain amount of wisdom and knowledge and foresight about oneself, like knowing yourself, just because you're not blindly raging.
No,
like you are
it's
very
strategic.
Calculated, and it is very tactical and strategic.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, like I said about going to Vitavu and how, like, I think for Girls Gone Wide 1 was the most time I'd spent there. And like the summer before, I think it was like my first real visit, you know, and that was just for 2 total weeks. Like, it was not for very long. And, you know, if I choose to travel somewhere, I'm going to probably go in it with a pretty clear picture of what I want to accomplish. But here's the caveat. You can't be married to it. No. Because, you know, you have to allow for real life to get in the way almost of your goals, you know, like you might sprain an ankle, or you might, you know, your car might break down, or anything. Family things might pop up. And so, like, I think, or weather. Yeah. I've gotten shut down on so many trips because of weather. And, you know, I feel like, being like clear and focused and being able to rage and setting that time aside for yourself, but also like having a backup plan so you're not just depressed that you didn't get to do the thing you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's big. I think definitely I've seen that happen a lot, especially with people in winter sports. Like if they get injured or something happens, or the season just kind of goes a little awry, then like their whole world
crumbles.
Is this
you
crumbled?
Can't be
and
like
that's
that.
like weather depression or athlete. There's a term for this where like athletes get super depressed.
I don't think you can be like that. I think you have to be like, oh well, I didn't get to do it. All right, what's next then? What am I doing now?
But that's a growth skill. Because I don't think that's normal. And it's not normal when I say, like, Is it the possibility to be norm? Yes. But I don't think it's normal because it's not easy and it's not comfortable. And we as human beings gravitate towards things that are comfortable, and we gravitate towards comfort.
Yeah.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just think it's harder. I think it's harder for the average person to do, and it's a skill set, and it's a learned skill, and it comes with seeking after growth, because growth is uncomfortable, but you are moving forward.
I feel like I give this example to my clients. You know, sometimes they get really attached to just like a goal, and they get attached to it within a certain time frame. And I'm like, it doesn't have to happen, you know, exactly when you want it to. You know, you have your whole life to work on it. Like for me, one of my major goals in my life is to climb 514 trad. Like I want to so badly. I think it would be so much fun, you know?
I think it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I just fucking love that. I love climbing at my physical limit. I'm not a bold climber. I like hard climbing. And I tell people there's like a little bit of a difference, and then there's like a marriage in between. You know, you can be bold and hard, and you can be just bold, or you could be just like hard. And I'm somewhere like more in the hard. I like things to be
That's funny.
deathy.
That's where you and I differ. I like bold climbs.
Yeah.
I like I can't tell you how many friends of mine and exes of mine have always said, like, you choose routes that have like little ambulances and skull and bones on them all the time. I'm like, I'm not trying to. It's just like this route calls to me, and like
I mean, embrace your stoke, dude. You gotta follow it.
Yeah, I just like getting on things where like I have to commit. Like I'm 100% committed to this.
Yeah.
I'm married to this movement.
Yeah.
I'm married to like what I'm doing in this exact action, and nothing is going to get in the way unless I feel like strategically like the whole thing is collapsing. But like I just gravitate towards bold moves.
I always think in those moments, I'm like, why am I risking my legs for this? Is this worth it? And then I'm like, no, it's not. And unfortunately, I can't move past that mindset. I'm like, my legs, though, I heal so slow. I'm old now.
Is it something you want to move past?
No, I don't give a shit. I don't have to prove anybody about if I feel bold, I'll be it. But most of the time, I'm just kind of like, I don't really care. There's so many like hard ass shit that's totally reasonable that I'm just like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, but like last summer, I bought a month's worth of permits for the White Rim. Got lent like a 4x4. My friend was gonna drive us down the whole time and camp with us, and that's like a big ordeal. And then like I found a partner for it, and like got all these things lined up. And the permits are not cheap. Like it's expensive. And a month of them, and like we got everything set up, like got it worked out with work, got school worked out with it, and everything was good to go. Day one of the trip, realized it was too hot to actually climb the route. Yeah, way too hot. And I was like midway through the route, second burn, and it's like my dream to climb this route. And I really I have such like an emotional like love of it, because it's like magic to me. Like the first time I saw it, like scrambled down because of where I thought it might be, and like scrambled down to it, and it's just a perfect like arching horizontal crack, and there was like a bighorn at the base, and like you're above Indian Creek, but you're below, Island in the Sky, and like it's just like a magical place. And it was just like such a special quiet moment when I was like the first one to like walk up on it in the group, and like it's been done before, but it was the first time I saw it, and it was just like this perfect remote beautiful thing, and like the movement on it is like amazing, and it takes beautiful gear, and like I don't know, it's just so
Where are you going back?
I bought 3 weeks of permits for it this fall, giving myself plenty of allowance to play on it, and so like day one to realize that's just too hot for this route. And so I was climbing it, and Ben Ruick asked me, he was like, Mary, how do you feel right now? And I was like, I feel like garbage, Ben. And I had already developed like a heat blister. And it was like kind of fucked up. And Ben was like, I don't want to crush your dreams, but, and I was like, Ben, I'm stubborn. I'm not stupid. I understand that this is way too hot. I'm going to back aid this and clean it. And we're getting out of here tonight, if that's okay with you. And he was like, perfect. I'm so glad that was so easy. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. Like, the conditions are just not, and it's okay. Like, it's not going to be the end of my world if I don't do this thing,
I think it's very important that you stated that, because like, you can be ambitious, you can try hard routes, you can try bold routes, but like understanding yourself and understanding yourself, the situation, your partner, there's a lot of aspects that go involved with the fact of the matter that like, you're not too big and you're not too proud to like understand like this will come another day.
It will, or it won't.
Truth.
And my life is more than just one route.
Truth.
Truth. Like, I'm not defined by one rock climb.
No, definitely truth. I backed off of a climb. I had a friend I'll never forget, Trevor. He just wasn't feeling it on a route, and I remember coming down, and he was like, "Dude, I got up to the pitch where he was about to take over, and he looked at me, and I could just see the look in his face, and I just remember looking at him, I was like, dude, the rock's not going anywhere, but our friendship can, so like, let's just turn around and let's just call this good for a day, and like, I don't like it's." This route is not worth you.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's not worth you. You are way more important to me.
Yeah.
And we're still best friends to this day.
See, that's awesome.
And that's what matters.
Yeah, you put his feelings first, and that's amazing. Yeah. Love that.
So, man, I guess, like, I don't want to finish this conversation right now, but I definitely want to give us some time to get ready for everything else that's going on tonight. Mm-hmm. But I want to say how to say this. Okay, I want to ask a silly question first, and then I'm gonna say this stuff. So, in your training, and this is just a recent question I've been asking people: is there an album or a playlist that you have that you can just kick on, and it's just like gets your psych?
I'm gonna tell you a dirty secret. I love to rock climb with music, but I wear like wireless earbuds.
Yep.
Because I hate playing music out loud. I feel like it disturbs.
No, I appreciate
people.
it from someone who is hard of hearing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. So there's just a little side story. So I was climbing at Rogers Park. It's this little trashy bouldering area near Dallas. But I'll never forget that I was telling these guys to turn off their music, and me being hard of hearing, I'm polite about it. But like, there was an issue. Yeah. There was a hornet's nest, and they couldn't hear it. They could not, or beehive's nest or whatever it was, a bunch of bees, but they're about to get jacked up. And I was like, hey, you want to turn off your music? And I just remember these younger guys were just being so rude about it. And I walked up, turned off their music, and the guy was like, what the? And I was like, before you decide to fight me, listen. And you could just hear all these bees. I was like, your buddy's climbing into a beehive. And they just couldn't hear it because they were blaring music. And granted, I could not hear my partner telling him like, hey man, I'm gonna do this boulder, I'm getting sketched out. Like, this is a known spot where people break their ankles. So like, I need you to like be on the spot, float the pad. Yeah. Like, I need 2 people to float the pad so I can like try this move.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. And to each his own. Like, if you're not disturbing everybody in the crag and you're not creating a danger,
anyone, then that's fine. But it's a personal choice that like I like it in my ears, and I wear like a headband, so it's not even an issue. Most people don't even realize I have it. Another thing too, I hate being talked to when I'm rock climbing. I absolutely hate it.
Talked to or being cheered on? Either.
Anything. Just silence. Just leave me alone. I'm rock climbing.
That's cool.
Because honestly, I'm so ADHD. And as soon as you fucking say my name and say something to me, you pulled me out of my rock climb, and you've now pulled me into a communication with you. I'm no longer focusing on rock climbing. I'm now focusing on you, and I don't give a fuck about you. You're my belayer. Hold the fucking rope and shut the fuck up.
You got one job only.
I love you though.
Yes.
I love you though, but like, shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
I say this to people all the time when I'm like definitely getting on a project. I look at them like, you got one job and one job only.
Yeah, just
like,
just
are you
don't
ready?
short up me.
Yeah.
You know, don't kill me, don't short up me. And
So what's the tunes? What are you jamming to?
So yeah, a lot of times I hate having to tell people that I hate being talked to. So I just put my headband on, put my earphones in, and most of the time people don't even know.
Yep.
And then like it's so easy to pop a headphone out and just put it in your sports bra when you need to talk, or like you get to top of the route and I pull it out, boom, all the time. Or a rest, I'll pull it out and I'll maybe brief people. It depends on the mood what I listen to. I have a playlist called Rage, which is like
Spotify, Apple Music.
Spotify, which is just like really fun, like raging house music. Like we're at a party and there's a DJ and we're raging all night.
Would you
New
be
Year's
willing
probably.
to share your playlist?
Yeah,
so
I would
people could listen to it?
I would totally
awesome.
share it.
I'm gonna put it in the show notes. This is gonna be great.
And I have another one called Euphoria, which is actually the vibe I'm really feeling right now with my rock climbing. I like to listen to Euphoria because it's like it's not as hard, like as upbeat as Rage is, but but it still has like a good vibe. It's still upbeat and still kind of housey.
That's cool. That's cool. I like it.
And then I have another playlist for if I'm feeling a little introspective or moody or just grumpy. Morose.
It's named Morose?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just, I don't know. It's what I titled it when I created it. And I don't necessarily feel morose when I play it, but like I'll put it in,
Okay.
that has more of like, Johnny Cash, White Stripes, things like that.
Yep.
I'm
with you.
Yeah. I got some other ones.
Okay.
Mellow Vibes is an old one that I was really listening to last year, and it's not mellow at all. It's just like, it's like weird hip hop.
Oh my God. All right. I'm excited. Like, I'd love to put all these in the show notes so people can listen and jam.
Mellow Vibes is odd.
Okay. The odder the better.
Because I guess what I was psyched on right before Mellow Vibes was I had we call it a playlist called Gangster Rap.
I have to
and
hear
it was
this.
just hard ass like hip hop.
Oh no, I had to hear this.
And then so when I was like, I just need to calm down a little bit. And so it was like less aggressive, and that's why it was called Mellow Vibes.
Nice.
It's not that it's mellow, it was just less aggressive.
Nice. Okay, and then I guess the last question really would be, for right now, is there a what advice would you give someone coming into climbing now and their desire is to climb like much like you're climbing? Like they're like, for example, when I first started climbing, one of my big heroes was Jeremy Collins, and still is to this day, big mentor of mine. And I had a Chasing Jeremy Collins list. And so I chased after almost every single route he has ever established, done, or has noted in anything online or anything he's ever talked about. Huh?
I got some advice.
Yeah.
I got a few things.
Hit me with the one time.
Never turn down a free top rope. Yep.
Legit.
Number 2, a mile in each size.
Okay.
And
what do you mean by a mile in each size?
So that more pertains to crack climbing.
Yep.
But I see commonly like people work their hand size, and they work the size that they're good at, but they don't work their weakness. You have everything from a 000 to a 7 Camelot, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me you've like done a mile in each size? Are you proficient in all that? One of my life goals was to climb 513 in each crack size, and I was really psyched when I did it. And because I was like, this means that like I can climb 0.3 fingers, I can climb 0.4 fingers, I can climb 0.5 fingers, I can climb 7 5s, I can climb 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s and 7s. It's just about equally, not exactly equally, because there's going to be some advantages, but like I can be, what I want in each size.
Yeah.
And so, a mile in each size.
Okay, cool.
And even the sizes that you think you have dialed, it's really good to like keep pushing harder grades in them because you like
It's
learn
different.
how to be more efficient in them, you know. I think that's really cool. And the third thing is like, you know, it's been the topic of this whole conversation, but, you know, embrace failure. Failure is a beautiful, beautiful place to be because it's a stage of growth. The
Yes.
whole theme of this conversation, it's not a place to be feared. It's not a place to beat yourself up. It's a place of like celebrating yourself and growing because you don't want to be the same person tomorrow that you are today,
Agreed.
right?
Agreed.
Like that sucks. I said earlier in this conversation, I never wanted to be like, this was the last place I explored. This was the last thing I did well, right? You have
Yeah.
to fail to get there. So, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's definitely beautiful.
Cool.
Well, I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah,
and
it was
I want to
super
thank
fun.
you. And this is fun. And I'm happy that we got to do this now. And I look forward to following your career. And I honestly look forward to hopefully having much more conversations like this with you because, like I said, like I don't know, like in the world of coaching, especially with youth, there are coaches who just have it, and then there are athletes that just have it. And what I mean it is like you're not just trying to get the kid to climb the hard thing. You see them for who they are
Yeah.
and in front of you. And there are athletes who are not just trying to climb the next thing. They're trying to grow themselves, and they're trying to grow who they are.
Yeah.
And it is very obvious, and it is very abundant, and it oozes out of you. It completely, utterly oozes out of you. And once again, if I'm floating your ego, making your head big, great. You can use it as a cam. But
I have a hard time looking at people when they're saying nice things. It makes me so itchy.
oh, I know. I see you squirming in this chair. I'm well aware. I'm still gonna say
Can't
it.
do it.
I'm gonna say it no matter what.
Well, thank you. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice.
But I look forward to this, and I look forward to watching your career.
Cool.
And I think you're an amazing human being.
Thank you. I think the same thing. I've really enjoyed following all your shenanigans with the podcast and all your videos and everything. It's been really awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I think you should keep it up.
This episode was fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was wonderful to meet Mary and start a friendship and just listen to it blossom in a short amount of time. If you love this podcast, please support it on Patreon. It helps out so much to keep this thing rolling and going. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and enemies, lovers and haters, and whatever you choose to identify, remember, if you are not suffering, you have to ask yourself, are you really even working for that send at all?
Spectrum Audio.